Hi, so this is going to be a bit of a weird video, and sorry about the lack of time from the last time I did upload to now. Kind of will try my best to make a video this week to get back into YouTube and explain all that, but this video was requested by one of my lovely clients, so I thought I'd make it for everyone in case it might help more people than just her. And I'll have this video posted on my website, so if you've clicked onto my website, hi, or if you've clicked onto my YouTube, hi, I'm Nadine.stone. I'm a personal trainer and online coach, as well as a biomedical scientist. So a lot of the way I structure my plans, my programs are science-based. So thank you for clicking onto this video. So I'll start off with the basics and talk to you guys a bit about what macros are. So macros are basically what your food is made up of. Macros are protein, carbohydrates and fat. There is alcohol, but alcohol doesn't really class as a macro, but alcohol does have calories as well, but we won't talk too much about that. We'll talk mainly about the main three. And people might ask, okay, so what is the difference between tracking macros and tracking calories? Tracking macros is just a way of categorizing where your calories are coming from and to kind of be more specific in what groups you're getting your calories from, so you could have a slightly more balanced diet. Macros have calories in them, so per gram of a macro it has a certain number of calories. Proteins and carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram, and fats have 9 calories per gram. So you might end up having macros that you've worked out yourself or from a coach that are like 150 protein, 200 carbs and 50 fat. They will all equal a set amount of calories. Is even tracking macros important? Like, are they even important? And the honest God's truth is, it's kind of like a lot of people would think like, okay, I've got to eat said amount of protein, I've got to eat said amount of carbs, I've got to eat said amount of fat. But the truth is, I think macros are just there to give you more of a guide that's a bit stricter than tracking calories, because if you were to track calories, you could eat a carb heavy diet or just a fat heavy diet. The most important thing for your goal is making sure that you're getting the right calorie requirement and you're getting your baseline protein needs. I coach my clients and give them macros based on their preference, because I think preference is the key to adherence, because if you have a plan that you like, then you will stick to it. So this might look like one client might have a high carb, slightly lower fat and then moderate protein diet. Or if a client comes to me and says, I've got a ginormous appetite, then they might have a slightly higher protein intake. I won't go too much into why, because again, this video will end up being really long, but basically proteins and fats are really satiating compared to carbs. But then carbs, you can look at having slightly more slower digesting carbs. Again, that will help with someone that has a massive appetite and etc. But I might make another video on that, who knows, and kind of give you tips on how to stay full and tips on how to avoid snacking. But yeah, so everyone's macros will look slightly different, and it's also dependent on your height, age, weight, lifestyle, gender. So there's like loads of different factors that will kind of give me a number for that person just to survive, and then whether they're trying to gain muscle mass or lose fat or stay the same, or maybe if they just want to work more on like habits, then that's what will kind of determine what macros I put them on, if macros is the right thing for that client. Sorry, I just hit my phone. In short, they're only important in the sense that they give you a little bit more structure than what tracking calories would, but at the end of the day, preference is key. So as long as you're hitting your calorie goal for the day for your goal and you're getting your baseline protein needs, in my opinion, carbs and fats, you do what you want with them, and I might give you a number for them, but that's more just to give you like that structure of having something to follow. But I've also got clients who I'm just like, okay, here are your calories, here's your protein, go wild, okay. And as well, but again, everyone's different. Some clients have calorie goals for each certain meal, so All my meal plans that I do give out though will have as much structure on them as possible, but then I always say to my clients, like, you do what you want with that. Like, if it looks a bit scary and you think it's too intimidating, then we can always break it down and make it a lot easier to work with. So now I'm going to explain how to track your macros. So there are loads of different tracking apps out there. The one that most people will use is MyFitnessPal, and MyFitnessPal, it's good, it's really, really good, but you just got to be cautious when you do sign up. I'm going to try to get a screen recording on screen of MyFitnessPal, and when you sign up, it will ask you for let me have a think. It will ask you for your details, such as your height, your age, activity level, and your goal. I think MyFitnessPal's got a lot better now because it's not giving people like crazy low calories anymore, but I still do think that if you are going to start on a fitness journey, whether that's to gain muscle mass or to lose body fat or to try your best to like a recomp, then I think it's good to always either get a second opinion from a coach or to try your best to like work out your own macros, because the ones that they give you might be a bit skewed. And then ask you for your details, and you enter your details in and it'll give you some numbers to follow. But you can change these numbers on MyFitnessPal if you go to, I think it's the goals section, but again, I'm going to put this all on screen because I probably won't remember it properly. If you go to the section where you can change your goals, and if you're on premium, you can put your macros in by gram, but if you're not on premium, then you've just got to put your calories in and then enter certain percentages. What I do recommend you do is try to get these as close as possible to the ones that you have been set, and then either follow the ones MyFitnessPal gives you because they'll be close enough, or you can follow the ones that you've been set in mind that MyFitnessPal might tell you you've got more or less to eat, because it hasn't got your actual ones on there. That's how you set your macros on MyFitnessPal. Now how you track your macros. So there's a few different methods that are really good for tracking macros. If you just try to just go along your day and put foods in, what you might find is that by the end of the day you're left with really weird numbers that are hard to hit. If you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to be a bit more, like if you've got a goal in mind, then I think it's worth taking 10 minutes the day before every day just to kind of have a rough structure of when you're going to eat what, and that way if you do get into the day and you're like, okay, so I put my whole day in but I don't really quite fancy eggs for breakfast, but you can then switch out those eggs for, I don't know, some, I'm trying to think like what would replace eggs, like some bacon or some like bacon medallions and avocado, so something that matches what you would have had instead of eggs. And all you do basically is just look at what the eggs have, and then you'd enter in what you want, and then you'd try your best to like match them up as close as you can, but it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be anal about it, it's just as long as it's close. And when you're tracking macros, like the way macros are worked out on the back of food labels is all done with estimates anyway, foods, but really it's not that serious. Even when it comes to chicken, like if you look at human beings like myself, like I've got more muscle mass or less muscle mass than Shelly from down the road, so if I was to be cooked and cut up and put into a pan, I might have more or less protein that she has. So again, it's all an estimate based on like a big database, so you don't have to be like super strict weighing things out to the gram. It's just gonna make you nuts. As long as you're like in the ballpark, like plus or minus 5 grams and you're weighing things out. And maybe fat sources be a bit more careful of because they've got like more calories, so there's more like margin for error, but doesn't really need to be that deep. And at the end of the day, as long as your macros are plus or minus 5 to 7 grams, then again you're still being consistent, more consistent than you would have been had you not tracked your food. So it is something worth doing if you're someone that doesn't really know a lot about like how much they're consuming. It gives you perspective. So I'm not saying everyone should do it, not at all, but I'm just saying for someone that lacks a bit of perspective on portion sizes, lacks perspective on where they're getting the food sources from and what the food sources really contain, I think it's a thing that you should like invest some time into. And that's one way of tracking, is to put your food in the day before. Another way of tracking is to set yourself specific macro goals per meal. This is my favorite one because I don't really if I have a meal plan, like I love meal plan when I'm prepping, I love it. It's easy, just wake up, it's there for you, you know what you're gonna do. Don't even need MyFitnessPal. But when I'm off season, I like to have specific macros per meal if I'm trying to have a bit of a handle on my diet. Like then I'll just set a macro targets per meal and try and hit them. I know by the end of the day I won't be left with a target that's really hard to hit. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. Hopefully like I'll put in bits and bobs from my phone, screen recordings that will make this a little bit easier. Hopefully you've already seen them. But yeah, if you've got any more questions, don't be afraid to message me or comment down below if you're new and you don't know me. And maybe if you want to see more, like if you want me to talk about anything, then we're in quarantine, I've got loads of time. So thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video useful. Thank you very much. Have a great day.